Matthew chapter 6, verse 19 to 24, feel free to read it with me. Jesus is addressing the apostles when he says to them, "Do not lay up for yourselves treasures on earth, where moth and rust destroy and where thieves break in and steal. But lay up for yourselves treasures in heaven, where neither moth nor rust destroys, and where thieves do not break in and steal. For where your treasure is, there your heart will be also." Verse 22, "The lamp of the body is the eye. If therefore your eye is good, your whole body will be full of light. But if your eye is bad, your whole body will be full of darkness. If therefore the light that is in you is darkness, how great is that darkness?" And finally, verse 24, "No one can serve two masters, for either he will hate the one and love the other, or else he will be loyal to the one and despise the other. You cannot serve both God and mammon." My friends, we live in a world right now that runs on money. A world where what you own or what you can do determines your place in society. A world where your valuables determine your value. I remember a few years ago, it was somewhere around grade 7, I was coming home with my dad and my brother from school one day, and so we arrived home, we jumped out of the car and went in by the garage door. Now in my house, when you come in by the garage door, the very first room you see is the family room. That's the room where the TV is, that's the room where the video games are, that's the room that me and my brother spend the most time in. And so like any other day, I threw off my shoes and I jumped on the couch and I grabbed the remote and I was about to press the power button when I realized, wait, the TV isn't there. The TV was gone. So I went to my brother's room and I asked my brother, Julian, what's going on? Where's the TV? And he looks at me strange and he says, "What? The TV's gone too? I can't find my computer." Now the thought came to my head, it has to be my dad. And my dad was always making threats and saying, I'm going to ground you guys because you guys watch too much TV and play too many video games. So we went to my dad and we found him as he's just coming in the house. And we went and we asked him, Dad, what's going on? Why'd you take our stuff? Where's the computer? Where's the TV? My dad looks in the family room. No TV. Puzzled, my dad goes to my brother's room. No computer. And he turns to me and he says, "Jeremy, I didn't take the TV, and I don't know where the computer is." So we were about to start accusing our mom. She wasn't home at the time, but we were about to start accusing her when my dad goes to his bedroom and he opens the door. Looks on the floor. There's his filing cabinets, his drawers, all his clothes. There's stuff cleared out from underneath his bed. The room had been trashed, and that's when it hit us. TV gone, computer gone. We found out our VCR and our video camera gone, and our parents' bedroom was trashed. Our house had just been robbed. It's not a very good feeling. Later that day, the police came by and, they did some investigation. They did a little CSI. Unfortunately, they weren't that helpful. But they determined that the thieves likely broke in from our back door. Now, in my house, the back door is a slide door, and so the officers showed us that our slide door that we were using, it didn't have the right type of lock. The bolt mechanism wouldn't close all the way. It wasn't securely fastened. So the officers demonstrated that with enough force, the thieves could easily just force open the lock and make just a little opening in the door, and then just use a crowbar and easily prop the door open, and voila, they're in your house. So there we were this whole time. We've been in the house for a while, thinking that our belongings were safe, thinking that the things that we valued were secure, not realizing that we had a broken lock. But here's the worst part. The worst part is that the slide door, our back door where the thieves came in and broke in and steal, the same slide door that turned out to be our Achilles heel, the same door was in the same room as the TV. So every single day we would spend hours in front of the TV. We would sit down on the couch eating food and playing video games, our eyes fixed on entertainment, not realizing that there's danger, our minds fixed on having fun, not realizing that just to the right of us, in the very same room, there was a door with a broken lock, and that our safety was in jeopardy. In a room that we spent so much time in a room that we spent every Sabbath in. Is it the same in the church? Between Hollywood, Disney World, ESPN, CNN, is it possible that we're so focused on entertainment that we've become blind to worldly influences? Has the church become so familiar and so routine to us that we don't realize that many of us aren't saved? What about your personal life? Are we so focused on ourselves and having fun and enjoying life and doing the things that we like that we no longer understand what it means to pray? Are we so caught up in spending money on ourselves and on the things that we love that we don't know how to spend time with God, who first loved us? Friends, we can't wait until it's too late to realize that an honest relationship with God is a treasure that no man can steal and that no rust can destroy, and that treasures on earth can only serve to distract us from the truth of God's love and the gift of everlasting life. So in Matthew chapter 6, Jesus is training the disciples to live in the kingdom of earth while waiting for the kingdom of heaven. First and foremost, Jesus wants us to recognize the location of our treasures. Verse 21, for where your treasure is, there your heart will be also. You see, in the Bible, the heart often represents your deepest, most fundamental desires. It's right in the middle. It's right here in the middle of your chest. It's in your being. It's the source of a person's thoughts and motives. The things that we hold close to our hearts, as the expression goes, or the things that we treasure, have a deep impact in our minds. Where is your heart? Where is your treasure? Because where your treasure is determines how you'll live life here on earth. And so Jesus is sitting on a mountain somewhere in Galilee, and he's talking to his disciples. And Matthew hears him say these words, verses 22 to 23. The lamp of the body is the eye. If, therefore, your eye is good, your whole body will be full of light. So once again, the Bible talks about the body using analogies, right? Your mind or your forehead represents what you think. Your mouth or your tongue represents what you say. Your ears represent what you listen to. Your hands, what you do. Your feet, where you go. And your heart represents, as I said before, your deepest, most fundamental desires. So if Jesus says, if your eye is good, he's talking about the things that we see or look at. So if what you look at is good, if your focus is on healthy things or uplifting things, your body will be full of light. Your life becomes like a beacon. People will see you differently based on who you let into your heart, and your light will shine before men, just as Christ promises in Matthew chapter 5. But, verse 23, but if your eye is bad, your whole body will be full of darkness. If what you look at is bad, if your focus sways from things that are healthy to things that are unhealthy, if you're drawn to horror movies and love pumping that bass in your music, but you ignore the negative messages that are hidden in it, you essentially unlock your heart's door and expose it to whoever comes by, to whoever wants to get in. You become vulnerable to unhappiness, anger, jealousy, all these things that take away the light that Christ has given us. First, Jesus asks his disciples, where is your treasure? Is it in heaven or on earth? Second, Jesus asks his disciples, what is your focus? On light or on darkness? The last part of verse 23 makes the point even stronger. If therefore the light that is in you is darkness, how great is that darkness? Or if you have the New Living Translation, I like what it says. It says, and if the light that you think you have is actually darkness, how deep that darkness is. But Jesus didn't come so that we can be accepted at home and so we can fit in with the world. We're supposed to be distinct as the light is to darkness. What you focus on becomes your treasure. And where your treasure is, there your heart will be also. I have a problem. I find it really hard to keep my thoughts from wandering when I'm praying or when someone else is praying. But I thought about it, and then again, how can God speak to me through prayer when my mind is full of movie scenes? Is it possible that we are so captivated by the virtual world of video games or by the fake world of romantic novels that we can't focus on and we forget how the gospel relates to the real world? Is the Bible just a good book with Jesus' teachings in it? Is it just supposed to, inspire us, or is it supposed to change lives? Satan's mission in the last days isn't to kill Christians. Satan knows that he can't destroy us, but he wants to distract us, just enough so we don't realize the power of the word. Sooner or later, false prophets will sneak in by our back door and plant ideas that will deceive anyone whose hearts are not guarded by the truth. But that's a whole nother sermon. So Jesus goes on in Matthew chapter 6, verse 24. No one can serve two masters, for either he will hate the one and love the other, or else he will be loyal to the one and despise the other. You cannot serve both God and mammon. First, Jesus asks where. Second, Jesus asks who. Second, Jesus asks what. Third, Jesus asks who. Who is your master? Who do you serve? But in Matthew chapter 6, notice how Jesus doesn't incriminate money. It's not the money that's wrong. It's not that he wants us to be poor, but that we should not serve wealth. You see, the rich young ruler's wealth stood between him and God. Without his money, that's basically what defined his whole being. Without his money, he wouldn't be rich. Without his wealth, he wouldn't be a ruler. Without the things that he owned, he wouldn't be anything, or so he thought. Until he got rid of his idol, his money, his wealth, his greed, it would be impossible to have a relationship with God. And so he came to Jesus and he saw the people around him. They had something that he didn't, and he coveted. He was serving the God of wealth. If your treasure is on earth, if your focus is on self, mind on your money, money on your mind, if you think that money can fill the hole in your heart and quench your thirst and give you rest, if you think that money can save you, if you think if you serve money, then in the end, you'll end up broke. But does this only apply to money? Are there other things that can fit instead of that word mammon, the God of wealth? Are there other things that we could put in that sentence? What about serving that boyfriend or girlfriend? What about serving lust? What about serving popularity? Is a relationship with someone or something creeping from the back door into your life and taking the place of God, standing between you and God? You see, for many of us, the problem isn't that we don't have a relationship with God. The problem isn't that we don't have a relationship with God. The problem is that we have a relationship with too many gods. A relationship with the God of wealth, a relationship with the God of popularity, a relationship with the God of success, a relationship with the God of skill or the God of knowledge, a relationship with the God of self. Jesus doesn't say that we shouldn't have two masters. He doesn't say that it's a bad idea. He says that we can't, that it's impossible, because God can't save half of you. You see, the day my house was robbed, when I found out that the TV was gone, I went right to my dad because I thought he was punishing us. I mean, we did spend a lot of time on the TV and video games, and we still do. But I thought of my father in the wrong light. And it's crazy because up to that point, me and my brother, we had no idea how important TV was to us, how valuable TV was to our daily routine, how much time we spent staring at this small rectangular metal box. We would skip over devotional time and just kept worshiping, watching television. Even if my dad was punishing us, it would have freed us. It would have freed us from the slavery of entertainment. Many of us have the wrong picture of our Father. When we feel conviction to get rid of that thing that stands in His place, maybe it's a relationship, maybe it's movies, music, video games, we assume He's trying to punish us. We assume He isn't fair. And that's the exact lie that the devil wants us to believe. We need to start buying true gold from heaven and focus on the truth. We need to start buying gold from heaven and listening to the truth. Your valuables do not determine your value.